Good morning. Hope you are doing well today. Ready for a good day. So this morning we're going to dig into Jeremiah chapter 7, 8, and 9, and then Psalm 15. I think I put Psalm 15 yesterday, but it's supposed to be Psalm 14. So today's Psalm 15, and so we're going to read a little bit, and I've got two kind of sections I want to highlight. First one comes from Jeremiah chapter 7, verses 17 through 19. It says, "Do you not see what they are doing in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem?" And so this is God speaking about the people. And if you've read Jeremiah up to this point, you know that God is getting ready to pour out judgment because of the way uh, the Israelite or the people of Judah have completely turned their back on God, serving other gods, just completely rejecting God's law and God's commands. And so verse 18 says, "The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead dough to make cakes for the Queen of Heaven, and they pour out drink offerings to other gods in order to spite me." But here's what the interesting verse 19. It says, "Do they spite me? Declares the Lord. Is it not themselves they spite to their own shame?" And I thought that was interesting this morning, thinking of truly what's behind some of the things and the reasons that we turn to sin. We turn away from God. We do things that are against God's law, serve other gods, serve idols in our lives, and we all have them, whether it's entertainment, sex, or other things going on in our lives. We all have those issues that we turn to and serve instead of the God, the one true God. And I thought that was interesting this morning reading it. They don't do it just to spite God. They're actually spiting themselves. They actually don't like themselves. They hate themselves. And that's one of the root causes behind what they're doing. So I just thought that was interesting. So Jeremiah chapter 9, here's where I want to kind of rest in this morning. Verse 23 and 24. "Thus saith the Lord, let not a wise man boast of his wisdom, and let not the mighty man boast in his might. Let not a rich man boast of his riches." Good morning, Julian. Verse 24 says, "But let him who boasts boast of this, that he understands and knows me, that I am the Lord who exercises loving kindness, justice, and righteousness on earth, for I delight in these things." And so it actually says, hey, good morning, Jen. It's actually saying, like, there, it's okay, first of all, to boast in who God is, His loving kindness, His mercy, the fact that He exercises that loving kindness, His justice, His righteousness. Those are the things it is a good thing to boast in. That's why it's such a beautiful thing to praise and worship God. We read it in the prayers of Matthew chapter 6 when Jesus outlines how we should pray. We read it all throughout the Psalms, all throughout the entire Word of God, people giving glory and honor and praise and boasting in who the Lord is. Where we get off kilter is when we start boasting in ourselves. Verse 23, "Let not a wise man boast in his wisdom." That is a massive and dangerous thing in our society today because of the amount of information and how it's easy to boast in the wisdom and the thinking and the theology that we may have. Let not the mighty man boast of his might. And this could be maybe financial things, that you boast in the might of our bank accounts, or we boast in the might of our physical strength or physical prowess, or our athletic ability. And God warns us, this is not right. This is not okay. These are the things that are leading the people of Judah to judgment, that are losing their lands, that are losing their lives because of these things. And then lastly, let not a rich man boast in his riches. And it's when I look around America, many of us, me included, fall into that rich category. When you see the desperate nature of where the world is, especially financially, whether it's food. I've never had to worry about where my meals come from. Do I have to worry about ever having enough food? I've never had to experience that. And yet, there are millions of people around the world who do not know how they're going to eat again. Every day, they're wondering and having to figure out how they're going to eat. And so, this is a warning to me, I know personally, that I wanted to share with you this morning, that we are not finding our assurance in the things of, first of all, of who we are and the things that we have and the life that we have around us. We are not to boast in our might or our wisdom or our riches. We are to boast in who God is and what he produces. Read it. It's not just about who God is, but boast that he understands and knows me. That is the thing, man. Can you imagine if your reputation and who you were is not about how great a person you were? It's not about how much money you have or the success that you have or even the knowledge and the wisdom you have, how smart you are. You know, as a parent, I want my kid to be very intelligent. We push our kids and we put a high importance on education, and yet we're not supposed to be boasting about our wisdom, but what are we to boast on? That he understands and knows me, and that I am the Lord who exercises loving kindness, justice, and righteousness on the earth, because that's who we are supposed to be about. Our identity is not wrapped up in the knowledge we have, the might we have, or the riches we have. Our identity truly should be wrapped in who Christ is and the fact that we know him, that we have him living inside of us, the fact that what he has done in our life, it can't be about us. When we make it about us, that is when the Spirit of God can leave us. That's when we start losing everything that God has placed and put into our life. When we begin believing that it's by our might, that it's by our knowledge, that it's by our power, that it's by our riches that we have the life that we have. Whether it's freedom from addiction, whether it's the marriage that we have, whether it's the job or the career that we have, it's not about my knowledge. It's not about my power and my might and my willpower, my discipline. It's not about my riches and the things that I've done to create for the life that I have for myself. It is by God's grace alone. Ephesians 2, one of the most powerful words in the entire scriptures, but God. When you read Ephesians chapter 2, it's very much we were dead in our trespasses. We were sins. This is the death, who we were before Christ, but God. And I think we need a constant reminder inside of ourselves of where everything in our life comes from and boast about those things. Like, make it known the fact that, this is not of me. When you post a selfie online, but God. When you post that picture of your family on a beach, only by God's grace. It is only because of God's righteousness. This is only by Christ. Are we giving him all the praise and the glory? Are we looking at our situations, our circumstances, our families, our jobs, and all our freedoms, and all those different things? Are we boasting in God and who he is, or are we boasting in our own knowledge and might and rich? And so I pray that we take time today and reflect on those things and say, man, what am I truly giving God the credit and boasting about? The knowledge that I have, the understanding I have of him. And not just the things either, like it's easy to post a picture of something good going on in your life, or how long you've been clean, or look at my marriage or my family and all these different things. Again, that's looking a little bit, it's never a bad thing to give God credit for those things, but are we reveling, are we boasting in the fact just that we know God, just that we know him? Just that he has revealed himself in his word to us. That God has placed his word in my life. God, I'm so privileged that God has revealed himself in his word to me. I'm so privileged. I'm so honored. I'm so grateful that the God of the universe loves me and has called me his own. You know what I mean? And so I hope that challenges you. I hope that resonates with you today. I encourage you, take some time, journal it out, write it out, spend some time in prayer, and just in thankfulness of who God is today, of the fact that he loves you, that he's righteous, that he's trustworthy, that he's a righteous judge. And so that's who he is. And I pray that we boast in that today. I hope you have a great day. I hope that challenges you. Let's dig into the word, spend some time in prayer, lift up one another in prayer, and continue to be Christ in all we do and all we say as we reflect our Creator. Y'all have a great day. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.